Howdy y'all, welcome back to Moose Preparedness. I'm Moose, and we're going to continue our third installment of Prepper Guns. And this time we're going to go through one that's an oldie but a goodie. And it's, you'll have to forgive the crazy hair, life is crazy. Been moving and dealing with all sorts of hecticness, and I was like, I just am gonna shoot. So anyway, here we go. So one of the things we talked about last time is we had so far we've had the 22 long rifle, and then we've also had lever guns. And going back kind of into the older school theme of things is we're going to go back into one of my personal favorites and one that I feel is incredibly reliable regardless of where you're going. And that is the amazing wheel gun. So here I have a couple of mine. And again, I'm trying to be as good as I can. So right here, I've got two of my wheel guns. Now, obviously you can tell there's some age difference here. So this is a Colt 1851 Navy. It was actually made in 1866, and it is numbers matching. And the cool part is it's still 100% functional. Now, I'm going to show you down inside the barrel or inside the cylinder so you can see it's not loaded, but this is a black powder pistol. Excuse me, words are hard. So it's a black powder pistol, and it's kind of hard to make out, but you can kind of see on the side there is a ship scene from the War of 1812. So what they did is they didn't engrave that, they actually stamped that on. But the cool part is that this gun was designed for the Navy, but the Navy hated it. They said it was too light to get across from one ship to another. So guess who really enjoyed this? The cavalry, because it's light and it's easy to load, easy to shoot, and it was very functional and practical at the time. You had 6 shots instead of your standard 1 shot for black powder. So this is a black powder pistol, as you can see. I'll go ahead and cycle the cylinders again. You can see in the back, it's got a percussion cap or a nipple for the percussion cap. And you could shoot this 6 times without reloading with the long barrel. Now, what's crazy is that it's a 36 caliber. So not very common from us today. But the cool part is that in a shit hits the fan survival scenario, a black powder pistol is actually a unique option. Well, why is that? Well, if you have the right ingredients, you can make your own black powder. And it doesn't take a whole lot. And then you can melt down some lead ingots from wheel weights or other parts. And then you have a fully functioning firearm. Versus modern firearms, you have to have the primers. The primers tend to be the linchpin. And then shortly followed after is the projectile itself, or the smokeless powder. So it's got those 3 key components, and the smokeless powders you can't make on your own. At least I'm not going to willingly try. So if you run out of primers, you run out of powder, you run out of the ability to shoot projectiles. You can still cast your own lead bullets. I had a friend of mine who used to cast his own and would get wheel weights by the bucketful at his local tire shop, because that's what they used to balance tires. And he would melt them down into everything. His favorite was 357/38. So 38 caliber projectiles for cowboy shooting, because that's what he shot a lot of. And then he also liked 45 ACP, so 1911s. Anywho, let's go back into it. So this one here is a more modern version. So this is one of the carry guns that I will absolutely go with. So this is a Kimber K6. It is super lightweight, and I'll go ahead and show you that it is unloaded, so that way I don't get the YouTube police. And I am holding it this way for a reason, because I don't want the serial number blasted out for everybody on the internet. But the nice part about a lot of these modern handguns is that they are both single action and double action. Well, what does that mean? So double action means that when I pull the trigger, and again, we've already checked and verified that it's not loaded, so I'm not going to put a round through my ceiling, but I'll do it one more time just so everybody's crystal clear that it's not loaded. See? That's all. Not loaded. Anyway, so double action means that whenever I take the trigger and I am preparing to shoot, let's say, have a target, whatever, I pull the trigger here, and the cylinder moves, that's double action. Or I can do what the old cowboy guns did, like the one I just had, the 1851 Navy did, and it's single action. So what it does is it cocks the hammer for me, so it's not as heavy, and it's a super light trigger pull. for that. And it makes it much more accurate. At least for me, I'm more accurate with the single action. So the nice part is with that is that it gives you that option. So, hey, if I don't, if I see somebody and I have time, good. If I don't and I have to fire right away, I can go. Most modern wheel guns are 6, although Ruger does make some that come in 7 rounds. But the nice part about a lot of these, especially ones like 357 Magnum, for example, this particular gun will shoot both 38 Special and 357 Magnum, so it gives you more calibers to choose from. So similar to that lever action Henry that I showed you, it gives you ammo variety. So if you only have one or the other, I will tell you that shooting 38s out of a smaller revolver like this, much more pleasant on the wrist and recoil. So that is something to consider, especially if you're shooting with a loved one. So I know my wife is somewhat recoil sensitive whenever she shoots, and having a 357 go off in your hand is pretty stout, and 44 Magnum's even worse. So just a thought, food for the wise. But I want to make sure that we mentioned wheel guns because they are incredibly valid still today. There's some really incredible ones out there. I know you can get them all varieties of calibers. You can even get them in your standard loads like 9mm or 45 ACP, which is, again, the 1911 cartridge. You can also get them in 10mm. You just have to get, for those ones, you have to get them in non-rimmed, you have to get moon clips. So you have to put a special part in there to make sure that the bullets don't continue through the cylinder. So, anywho, that's what we've got for today for the wheel guns. Once again, I appreciate you for being here. Stay safe out here.